This is a great image of a respectable, classy, beautiful woman.
For you to point out this well-dressed sister here to make me feel some type of way about myself becomes a problem.
Man, let me get you.
Reason I have never said I do is because I don't.
I've been married, and I couldn't sign up for bad sex.
Test drive.
So if we enter a relationship with anything that's about me, then I don't believe that we're ready.
The best show on the planet, and you heard that right here. Comcast Channel 66, Verizon 29, and YouTube and Roku all around the world. All around the world, the same song. Anyway, my name is Shelly Williams, your host. I am single, never been married. I have children, they just haven't come from me. I love the children that I have raised in this world. I love you all. So, anybody else want to share their life stories? Yeah.
I am Roberto Lopez. I'm single. Yes, I have children also.
I'm Danielle Patterson. I am single. I am childless. I could think about having a baby, but I don't know. Now I gotta find me somebody that can impregnate all this right here.
All right. I think we should have our kids at the same time. Wouldn't that be decent? Raise our kids around the same time, and then you can watch my kid one day.
No. See, I have a whole family plan. See, you're trying to mess it up. See, you're trying to mess it. I got a family plan, which involves I'm going to have my children. I'm going to raise them the way God intended. I'm going to have birth with lots of drugs because God inspired man to make drugs, so I don't have to be in pain. And then I'm going to pass my children off to all of y'all that are my lovely friends because somebody told me they might not want to leave the kid with me because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know how to change a diaper. But I'm going to be all right because I have money, so I'm just pay somebody.
Oh, she got money. Well, we're going to come back to you, but we'll go ahead.
There you go, see?
I'm Michelle Renee. I'm single, no children.
Hi, I'm Alicia, and I am single. I have one 16-year-old son who's awesome.
And he gonna help me with that baby. See, I'm trying to tell you, everybody, they got their kids, the kids are the right age.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Alicia's son about to graduate next year, so he ain't babysitting nobody.
No, he's gonna be in school.
Well, since we're saying the ages of our children, I'm Christopher, the gentleman. Y'all already know that. I have a 22-year-old, a 21-year-old, a 21-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 6-month-old.
Wow. You got twins?
No twins.
Why
no.
they 21 and 21? Was you doing something wrong?
Obviously, if they ain't twins. One turned 21 in July, and the other one turned 21 in October.
Wow.
See, there was a long time before he became a gentleman.
He was a gentleman. Go ahead, Carol.
I am Carol Petra, no children. I was married, but I'm single now.
Well, all right, she's single now, so whoever's out there, you know, whoever you are, whether you're booed up, you got a honey, a bunny, whatever, we have somebody that can identify with you on Single on a Saturday night. But today, because we haven't, you know, I haven't introduced the person next to me, we have to talk to Carvin Haggins of Carvin and Ivan Productions, Karma Productions, also rolling with Jazzy Jeff back in the day. Carvin Haggins, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am great. Now, you are the man, like the man. You know, people see you sitting back here, you know, you single.
I'm nobody.
You're a God's child. But anyway, you wrote some great songs about love. Tell us about the songs you've written and got your Grammy award-winning, Carvin Haggins.
Wow. Yeah, I don't normally talk about myself or what I've done, but I've been blessed to create some records that have been monumental in people's lives. So one of the songs, one of my first records I did was on the Love Jones soundtrack with Kenny Lattimore, I Can't Get Enough of You. That was one of my first placements. My second major record that kind of helped my career, actually propelled my career, was Just Friends by Music Soul Child. And then right after that, well, that whole album was pretty much me. So Just Friends.
You see how Common did it? This whole album was pretty much me.
Yeah, so you know, that and music's career has really been my career. So I've kind of been blessed to have that as a tool to move me to where I needed to be.
And Grammys, which songs did you win the Grammys for?
Well, we were nominated 15 times.
Wow.
We won one with Lil Wayne, believe it or not. And yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. So we're introducing to a single man, Carvin Haggins, but we're going to get into his life about why in the world are you single? But I hear you said you're divorced. Tell us about how that all happened, because, you know, I've known you for a lot of years and did not even know that you've been divorced or ever married.
Well,
you shocked me.
Yeah, well, you know, I always move by my lonely, but years ago, you met me after my marriages, but I got married when I was 15 years old. Yeah. By my high school sweetheart. Father used to abuse her, and it was just something I couldn't agree with. And, you know, she was a good girl. She did everything right. Wouldn't call me when she went home. Like, everything her father told her to do, she did. But her father abused her, and I didn't agree with that. So my mission was to get her away from that situation.
So you was already getting your grown man on at 15?
But you at 15
Absolutely.
making a decision like that to take on all of that? Like,
absolutely.
15 is a wild out. We commend you on that. So what was married like at 15? Like, you know, at 15 we sneaking to get, not me personally, but some
you know what? I
people
don't even want to get to the marriage part. I mean to the sex part. I'm really more interested in the psychological impact they had just leading up to. I mean, example, typically when you're dealing with the law and that, you know, and the law decides that they're going to permit people who are minors to get married, it's typically a minor female and an older man, because there's still that perception in society that the man is the caretaker. So what was that like for you, even just trying to get a marriage license to get married?
Well, you know, it's interesting because we went to City Hall to get the marriage license and spoke to a judge, and the judge was like, I'm not allowing no 15-year-old boy to get married. It's not going to happen. And I said, well, can we talk? And you'll understand my story. And we talked. We actually talked for about 2 hours. And when it was done, he gave me my marriage license.
Wow.
You must have had some phenomenal things to say. Now, to me, that's impressive.
But, you know, when you think about wife, you have to take care of her. Did you have to go out and get a job? Did you have to go out and get a home? Or did your parents allow you to?
Well, it started with us living with my mom. And then later on, we got public assistance. And she went into school. I dropped out of school and helped her get through nursing school. So I kind of helped her do her homework, cheated for some pretty advanced in school. So, you know, made sure she got through school and graduated as an EKG technician. And then I went back to school and graduated high school.
How long did you drop out?
4 years.
Okay, not long.
One year, and then you went back and graduated from Martin Luther King.
Yep.
Martin Luther King High School.
So what did the other kids think?
No, said with honors.
Okay, so you're a married man walking around in high school, but you're a married man walking around in high school.
Absolutely.
Like, how would your friends say? Or like, not even just your friends, because they probably knew more about the situation, but randomly he would be like, well, like I go home to my wife.
I mean, I didn't really look at it from that standpoint because I was doing it. So it was just something being done. Of course, you know, I was young. I was still being a little flirt and making little girlfriends in school. But, you know, that's life. You can't.
Well, there are old men that are still, you know, making girlfriends in school. So, you know, it's not like...
How about that? But this was your first marriage. How long did it last? And what?
Well, it lasted for 5 years. And we have a son out of that marriage. And I mean, it was good. It was 5 years. And we actually grew apart, you know, as growing and seeking different things and learning more about ourselves. We grew apart and separated and then divorced.
Were you guys the same age? Were you guys the same age when you?
She's actually a year older than me.
Okay, but we're gonna talk about how you come from transition from being the husband married to this super. Even though you're very humble, and that's a great thing about you. But you pretty much are a super producer, a super writer. You know, where do those songs come from? That song "Love," like that's one of the deepest songs. We just sat here and probably butchered it in our song. Well, he can sing, I can't sing. But how did that song come about? The love. How do you write that? Did that come from some of your experiences that you had from being married and all that? Because you know, you're fine with the writing thing.
That record came from a couple of different places. One, the reason why the record was written was because music wanted to do a sex record. He wanted to do a sex record. And I was like, dude, you're not sexy. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, let's think logical. And I was doing some technical work behind the mixing board. And I was like, you know, what if we have a conversation with love, the emotion itself? So he was like, that's a dope idea. Andre Harris was in the room at the time. So we started singing the melody, and Andre played the keys to the melody of what we were singing, and then we began to write the song. So the song kind of wrote itself. Literally, it took about 15 minutes to write.
15 minutes to write a hit song? I mean, that's...
It took like 15 minutes, and literally we cut it in about an hour and a half. But, you know, again, it's all God ordained. So when something is God ordained and you allow the Spirit to work through you, then you're going to get that product, and it can come as immediate as that or even faster.
And that's what I wanted to ask you about that song, because I was told at one time that was originally like a gospel song. Like if you just change the word love to Lord, you can actually sing that in church, because I've done it before.
We're going to come back after the break. We're going to go to a break. We're going to talk about the love and how, has anybody ever been in love? Do you really know about love? This is Single on a Saturday Night right here at Kid Gray's Seafood and Steak Restaurant in the historical borough of Carvin, PA. Welcome back to Single on a Saturday Night, y'all. Welcome back to Single on a Saturday Night. I hope everyone is paying attention and not having their own personal conversations out there. You should be listening to us right here. Single on a Saturday Night. We like to help thank everybody who helps us put the show together. DJ Romy Rome, 88.1 every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Dr. Shock Austin and Lenise Austin of Austin Fine Photography, who makes, you know, all of us look good. We have our whole shot. Our new intro is going to have our pictures in it, done by Austin Fine Photography. And of course, Carol's Faces with the beautiful makeup, and Q's Hair Boutique, 5850 North Broad Street. And
you can't forget about Issues, the hot pink building in the Pink Light District, where you can get all your girly wants and needs met. Get your lashes done, your makeup done, find some great things, all at the same place.
So they sell sex toys too? You said girly needs.
Girly needs.
I'm just joking. It's a joke. It's a little joke. We're talking about love.
And it's a lot of serious. Girly needs.
Girly needs. That's what I said. But anyway, Christopher was asking about the song "Love." Was it meant to be? Did you say meant to be a?
Yeah, I was told that it was, you know, and you know how rumors are, but I was told that it was originally meant to be a gospel song, and you just changed the word Lord to love, because it's basically having the same conversation with God if you listen to the words.
Yeah, that's absolutely false. It actually turned into a gospel record afterwards, because honestly, I was Muslim when I created that record. So I'm Christian now, but I was Muslim when I created the record. And a lot of Christians was like, dude, this is like a gospel record. I said, well, I'll be the first Muslim to win a gospel award, I guess. I don't know. But, you probably
wouldn't be the first one.
Right. But, you know, the funny thing is that once something is God ordained, like I said before, there's really no way to change the trajectory of it. So the idea of the record and what it was and what it stood for was way light years ahead of my thinking. So God knew what I was writing, and he knew it was about him. Because once I got saved, I found out that God is love and love is God. And it was like, wow, so you were looking out for me. When I wasn't looking out for myself, he was looking out for me. So
exactly,
you know, that record is like the staple of who I am.
When we talk about love, the word love, has anybody ever really think that, not you, Chris, because we know you're married. We're talking about the single ones. Have you ever really felt that you've been loved or experienced that type of love in the song Love?
In a song or in
the
like...
type of love that's in that song, Love, so many people.
Recently, yes.
Recently, yes.
Very recently that I recognized that there is a man in my life that loves me the way I've always wanted to be loved. Wow. You know, what I always thought was love, what I always thought was there, what I always wanted, and he really loves me that way. It's, you know, it's a selfless love, it's self-sacrificing. No, we're not in love, we're not together, and it's been a very interesting revelation, and it's made me think a lot about where I am, where I want to be, and who I want to be with.
Wow. So what about this quiet side down here? Have you ever been in love? Do you know what love really is? The kind of love that song pours out in that song. Because we got to see music live, didn't we, Melisha?
And it was awesome.
We went to New York and got to see music, you know, because
for free.
I got to walk back there and say, yo, what's up? That's my homie. Can I get back there? So anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, no, I think there was a point in my life where I thought it was love, you know, and when you're in it. Sometimes it seems like love because you can't really see. You got your blinders on and you think what you're receiving is true love. But then when you're outside of it, when it's over and you look back on it, you be like, that
That's
wasn't
exactly
love.
how I feel.
That wasn't love at all.
I think that at this age, most of us have experienced that.
Yeah.
And I definitely would be with you. I would say, you know, oh yeah, I was in love with this one, I was in love with
Yeah.
that one. But just this recent experience, and I mean, when I say it's recent, it's very, very recent.
Right. That's why I
And it's
didn't want to
been
say.
mind-blowing for me.
That's why I didn't want to say that I have experienced love, because at the time I thought it was love, but now that I, you know, look back on it, it was definitely not that song type of love.
Selfless love.
Right.
But have you ever, I mean, you got people, I mean, you said that he feels that for you, but what about the love? Don't you think sometimes we don't love that same way? We want people to love me.
Well,
but
we don't.
We
We
love
don't.
that way. Aren't we holding back that love because we don't want to get hurt?
Right,
We don't
exactly.
want-
I agree
In my
with that.
case, I loved him that way. He didn't reciprocate it when I needed it. So that's why I walked away. And so that's what I mean when I say I had never experienced the kind of love that I thought that I needed. He didn't give it back to me. But what happened really is that because I didn't feel like I got it back because of all the external things in life and everything else that goes on, I walked away. And so now here it is, almost a year after having walked away. And, you know, some new situations of circumstance are there that he's still been with me through. And I'm really recognizing that, no, this man did love me truly the way that I need to be loved. And he loves me to this day that way.
And if you do love that way, that love is there. You know, we talk about selfless love, self-sacrifice, all that. Why walk away? If it's love, we're talking about love. Why walk away? Why not consider going back?
Can I make a
consider
comment too? We never realized it. Like when you have it, you don't realize it when you have it. When you after it's all over and it's said and done, then it's like, oh my God, that was love. You don't realize it while you're in it and walking in it. You're like, and then afterwards you look back and you're like, wow, this person really loved me. And I don't know if it's like you take it for granted or whatever the case is, but when you're in it, you don't realize it. I was married at one time too, and not thinking about it, my ex used to drive from Virginia to Philly just to spend a couple hours with me and had to go back to work 5 o'clock in the morning. To me, after the fact, I'm like, oh my God, this guy really loved me. But I didn't realize it at the time when it was all happening. And I think as we get older too, our values is more like we value the stuff that's different, like the little things like, oh my gosh. So I think all of that stuff comes into play at the same time. But just...
You know, sometimes you have to walk outside of the house to see what it looks like. You know, you can't tell what the outside of your house look like as long as you're on the inside looking. Sometimes you got to walk on the outside and look at the house and realize you're in a great, great place, and then go back inside and enjoy it.
And there's nothing wrong with going back inside that house, right? You know, sometimes you gotta let down some barriers and go back inside the house.
This is the not so subliminal message. Because
I'm sorry.
It's the not so subliminal message because when the breakup was occurring, Shelly was around and told me that I was a fool then.
Yeah, so my question to you
She
is,
did.
now that you have came to that realization, what's stopping you from, I guess, going back to be in that love?
It ain't time for a commercial.
Are you serious?
Fear.
It's fear.
I think a lot of us fear because Danielle is such a strong. I mean, she's an attorney, man. She gotta be a shark.
Has to be.
We're so scared to let that down and totally fall.
Well, I mean,
in love.
it's not even fear. I mean, it's not. I mean, no, he hurt me the first time, so it's like I gave myself to you 100%. I don't even have that same 100% to give you. It's a different 100% now, because you changed me. So now I just wonder, as far as the relationship between the two people, because at a point it's not about love. At a point it's about how you can relate to each other and whether or not you can fulfill each other's, wants, needs, and desires. And I don't know whether or not that's still there because there is that hurt, there is that barrier. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of failure. I'm just wondering at this point is the love, that selfless love that I now know is there, is that really enough to, to climb every mountain and sing songs about and, whatever?
I have a question because you said something very key. Why is it women, I guess it's more women than men, don't you recognize the love when you're in the relationship and it takes you to be out of the relationship to recognize it? What is it that's clouding your mental capacity that you can't see while you're in the relationship?
I think think that with some of it, with cloud and relations, not just men, it's women, everybody has the emotional bondage that keeps them from seeing what's going on because they were so worried about what's going on, whether they got the right money, whether they got the right status, whether they got this. It's so many other things that leaves you blinded to see all of the love that's there because you're worrying about all the outside factors. And if you've been hurt before, which I say 99.9% of us have been hurt before, you always will have a barrier up that keeps you from that. You, even though you can't, there's nothing you can do to keep yourself from getting hurt except for guard your heart.
And also there might be an issue of like how you were brought up. Maybe you don't recognize love because you never seen it in real life. Like you may have been in an environment where you seen your parents relate and act in a certain way, and you think that's love, and that might not be love, and you don't really understand it when it's happening to you because you've never really seen it.
Circumstances causes solutions. So when you go through a situation of pain and hurt, then you have to first become self-involved, and then you find a solution that helps self. So though you've been hurt, then the next solution is I got to protect self. So in protecting self means I'm only going to give 30% to everything that I do. Because if I give anything else, I'm going to be hurt. So that'll cause someone to, again, not pay attention. Because now, once they get past that 30%, even women, you guys know, you may say you're only giving 30, but then you'll end up at 50. And once you realize you're at 50, then you try the braking system, and sometimes that can actually ruin the relationship. So when that braking system you start applying the brakes, then you start getting fearful. Because now you're like, I'm going into a world that I've been in that's not safe. So again, those circumstances will cause a solution, which causes women to pull out of the situation and have to back out first, and then go, this was real, and then try to get back in. But here we go.
By then it could be too late.
We got grudges, men.
Yeah.
You know, and it ain't a grudge.
Been there, done that.
I don't want to snitch on us, but we sensitive. We real sensitive.
We real sensitive, emotional creatures.
They're going to pull all your cards. That show is going to air, and they're going to be done with you.
Once you hurt us, it's like, oh, you ain't never getting back.
Complete total shutdown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, when we come back, we're going to learn about how we can get men to get over these grudges so that we can work towards this selfless and unifying love. We come back at Single on Saturday Night TV.
Single on a Saturday night. Welcome back to the hottest show on the planet. Thank you everyone who helped us put the show together. DJ Romy Rome, Dr. Shot, Austin Fine Photography, Carol's Faces, Q's Hair Boutique, and
don't forget the issues, the hot pink building in the hot pink district on 60th Street. Come witness the revitalization.
There you go. We're gonna get back. We have this is a great show. We're gonna get to the audience. Nicole. Okay.
I just wanted to say about love, like what you were just saying was great, and it kind of makes me think of, like, I always feel, and a lot of my girlfriends have been through this, where they feel like they're going out with this guy and they like him, and everything's good, and they're starting to fall in love. Like you said, they're getting to that point, like, I'm gonna have to take it slow, but then they already feel like he could be one girl and all this other stuff. So, but then that's when they get to that point, that's when it seems like the guy starts to pull back a little bit. And like the minute, like, this man chased me down, and now that I'm loving it, feeling it, and hey, it's gonna be me and you, then it turns into, like, I don't know, something's wrong, something's off. So then you try to back up too. And it's almost kind of like when you start slowing down, then he starts coming back. Like, if I don't call for a while, then all of a sudden it's, where are you? You know what I mean? So, like, how do you know, is that love, or is this, like, what is, it's a game, you know, at that point?
Well, as part of the cast here, we had a show about being in prison, and like the years I spent in prison, I didn't think of love. I didn't have a girlfriend, so it wasn't that I had those thoughts outside of the prison. So then, when I did get out, I entered into a long-term relationship, and my faculties weren't in order. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to prioritize her, and I don't think I put any emphasis and importance on her. And it was a long term and lasted like a lot of years, like 10 years, but it's like I didn't give her that. I didn't know how to do that. And then now, speaking of this love, there is a person that loves me where all her actions, all her words indicate everything. And it's just me where I am. It's like, wow, that's really different, and you can really see love when it does exist, you know. And I'm very partial to it, and it's like I'm just on the fence where I don't want to get into a label where then it's a disappointment, where I'm either disappointing her or she's disappointing me in expectations. But it is wonderful, and it does feel really good. It feels very good.
So it came back to fear.
No.
That's what it came back to. It came back to fear.
Yeah.
Commitment issues,
Yeah.
to which a lot of guys have.
I think the more you've experienced, the more scared you get. I mean, love is the scariest thing. There's nothing scarier than giving all of yourself to somebody, because the power that gives to that person, it can crush you. And if you've had your heart broken, like, I know personally, there's never been any pain like this. It's like, I gave my all to you, now you broke that, what's left?
It's beyond
And that's where I
vulnerable.
found myself a year ago.
And then you know what? And then you don't. For myself, I just
rebuild.
found the whole issue of then my self-identity, because
Yes,
now
that's
I made myself
exactly it.
vulnerable to somebody, which is who I so just not am, just naturally. And you know, and then so you open yourself into this heartbreak, and now your heart is broken. The love is not there.
Rebuild who you are.
And then you know what? When you rebuild it stronger, and you build it harder.
Amen.
And I mean, you do, and you build it higher, and you just do. You know, it's like.
You don't deal with the bullshit.
You know what's funny? What's funny? What's funny about that? I think that and most times, you know, there's a couple of ways you look at love. Some people look at love after physical. They are physical first, and then they fall in love. You're not in love. You're in lust. And you're gonna be blinded by lust the whole time until the lust wears off. And once it wears off, then everybody starts backing out. So if the physical is first before the love, then you already got an issue. The second thing is that the only way you learn how to deal with something is by going through it a number of times. You ride the bike, you fall. You get back up, you ride it again, you fall. And what happens is the more you fall, the more you realize that falling don't hurt as bad as the excitement of riding. So you have to change your perspective and your point of view. It's like, all right, I've been hurt, but I'm cool with that. And the reason why I needed to go through that to grow me to my next level, so I can love through the next level.
And the scabs on your knees, they ain't nothing like the scars on your heart, baby.
Listen, what I'm
sorry.
telling you is
I mean, the little scabs on your knees from falling off the bike ain't nothing like a scarred up heart.
Well,
I'm sorry.
God says this. God said He is love. So love don't hurt. Love actually grows you. That's if you got to go through pain to grow, and that's just, you got to take that pain. But you can't take that pain with anguish, anger, and a bad bitterness. You got to take that pain and say, I'm glad I went through that, because if I didn't, I would have never grown to this level.
And you know what we don't realize is that the heart and the mind are the slowest healing organs in your body, but we take the most chances with our heart and our minds. Yeah. But at the same time, you can't experience somebody trying to love you if you don't allow the bricks around your heart to be taken down. It may be painful, but at the same time, you're going to learn from that pain. So when you grow, then you will know how to deal with what happened to you the first time.
You know, this is Single on a Saturday Night. We're going next month, next year. We
2013, baby.
We actually been doing this for a year. We thank you for joining us for real for this whole year. We gonna come back stronger, better, tougher, just like tougher. But anyway, thank you for being a part of us, Carvin Haggins. We're gonna have to have you back.
Yeah.
You got to come back. We gonna claim that. In Jesus' name, amen. We're gonna claim that right now. This is Single on a Saturday Night. Thank you for joining us.